From California, Alex Padilla. Senator, thank you for coming in. California, as we know, of course, has some of the strongest gun laws in the country. And you've had these deadly mass shootings just in quick succession. Gun violence, of course, is a problem in every state, Senator. We know that, of course. Why do you think this is happening right now in California?
Look, first, Kate, let me say that as heartbroken as I am for the families of the victims and the communities in Monterey Park, Half Moon Bay, and elsewhere, I'm equally outraged along with the governor because a lot of this doesn't have to happen. We know that smart gun safety laws work, whether it's restrictions on the type of weapons made available, stronger background checks, red flag laws, etc. The numbers don't lie. Since those laws have been implemented in California, numbers have gone down. And for the 10 years that we had an assault weapons ban nationally, the numbers came down. So the governor's absolutely right, and we're going to keep fighting the fight here in Congress to reinstate and adopt some of these proven solutions, not just state by state, but nationally.
And I do want to play something more from Governor Newsom's conversation with my colleague Veronica Miracle as he points the finger directly at Congress. Listen to this.
We're only as good as our weakest link. California leads the nation in common sense gun safety reform. It saves lives. The data bears that out. But we can't do it alone. If folks could simply go to other border states, there's going to be loopholes. And we've got to solve for these, not just the incidents, but we've got to solve for these patterns. And it requires Congress to take bold leadership. The number one death for children last year was gun related. And you didn't do a damn thing. Congress is sitting on its butt.
He puts this on Congress, Senator, with full knowledge of the makeup of Congress, who's in the majorities in Congress right now, and also the very tough politics around gun regulation. What do you think you can actually do now?
Look, well, we have no choice but to continue to try to address this issue. The governor is right. If you can go to a neighboring state and import large capacity magazines or assault weapons, that's a huge loophole. Nowadays, if you can buy parts online and modify what is otherwise a lawful weapon into something that is not allowed in California or other states, that is a huge loophole. So let's be precise. It's not just him pointing the finger at Congress, it's him pointing the finger, me pointing the finger at congressional Republicans because they're the ones that have refused and resisted and obstructed efforts to reform gun safety laws at the federal level. That being said, I have to remain hopeful, and we can look at some of the progress that we made just last year as a reason to stay hopeful. The passage of the Safer Communities Act, it didn't do away with assault weapons, it didn't do away with large capacity magazines, it did strengthen background checks for buyers under 21. How about adopting those best practices to everybody, not just younger buyers? Incentivizing red flag laws. Let's look at how they've been working in different states and adopt best practices nationwide. There's more that needs to be done because Americans are dying. Our children are dying and being traumatized.
So, Senator, let me ask you on exactly that. Let me ask you exactly on that point. There were 15 Senate Republicans who voted last year in favor of that bipartisan gun safety measure that passed. You would need them, of course, if you want to get anything else passed in response to these mass shootings in this Congress. Have you spoken to any of those Republicans in light of what's happened in your state?
We have. Again, the conversation continues since the immediate aftermath of the passage of the Safer Communities Act because we know more needs to be done.
But real conversations, you know that these mass shootings and these tragedies, these can spur renew new conversations. Have you spoken to any of them since this has happened to see if anything has changed? Because basically the chance of getting an assault weapons ban passed in the reality of the Congress that you're in right now is non-existent.
So here's the truth, Kate. I just returned to Washington, D.C. literally a couple of hours ago, and I will begin those conversations immediately. Why did I just get back to Washington? Because I stayed in California. While the governor was in Half Moon Bay yesterday, I was in Monterey Park at the vigil with the community because while we fight the fight on gun safety laws in Congress, we also have to make sure we stay on the ground supporting the families, supporting the friends, supporting the communities that are going to be dealing with trauma for a long time and need our help to heal. But we have to do both.
Senator, thank you for coming on. Thanks for coming on as you just returned very shortly ago to the Capitol. I appreciate your time. We'll see where those conversations head. Thank you. So the Justice Department is now looking